Hey guys, in this video we're going to be seeing about arrays and matrices. Now matrices or matrix is a commonly used term in mathematics. Now first let's see what is an array. An array in C is a collection of similar types of elements. The syntax for an array is data type of the array, name of the array, within square brackets, the size of the array, and the elements of the array. Now, to access each element of an array or each individual element of an array, we have something known as an index. Now let me give you an example of an integer array. Now, this is an array of size 6 as it has 6 elements. Now, how do you access 7 or how do you access 3? Now, an index is the position of each element of an array. Indexes usually start from 0 and go up to n minus 1, where n is the size of the array. So the index of the element 10 will be 0, 4 will be 1, 7 will be 2, 8 will be 3, 3 will be 4, 5 will be 5, etc. And that's how it works. Now let me declare an array. Let me use an array of integer type. Of size 5. Now how do we add elements? One way is to include it in curly brackets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is an integer array of size 5 with elements already allocated in it. Now do we print how do we access the elements? Now how do we access the elements in the array? Typically it's done with a for loop. For int I is 0, I is less than 5 because the index is n minus 1, where n is the size of the array. I plus plus. Now how do you access the elements of an array? It's typically done by array name in square brackets the index of the element that you want to access. Now if I put 4, that is the index of 5, so you'll get 5. Now how we usually print the elements of the array with a printf statement, %d /t, so we'll know the difference. So there's a space. Now array of I. Let's close up the for loop. Close up the main statement. Now let's save it and run our code. There you can see the elements of the array. Now this is known as a one-dimensional array because it only has length or one dimension of elements. Let me show you the other way to initialize elements in the array. You can even ask for user input. Now we delete this line, then you can add a right here enter the elements /n, then delete the array of I and the comma, Now scanf %d ampersand array of I. Now let's use another for loop to print the elements that we entered. Now let's save the code and run it. Enter the elements. The first element will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see it printed the elements in the array that the user has entered. Now, to declare a multi-dimensional array, you include more square brackets. Now, this is an array of 5 cross 5, or now it's a matrix that we typically use in mathematics. It is also known as a two-dimensional array. You can have three-dimensional array, four-dimensional array, and n-dimensional array as you add the square brackets. Now, how do we initialize this or statically initialize it? So let me take a smaller size. Now, since it has 2 rows and 2 columns, the first row will contain 1 and 2, then comma, second row, 3, 3, and 4. Now, how do I display it? As the dimensions of the array increases, so does the for loop for displaying it. Now, there's another for loop for the second dimension. So, in j is equal to 0, j is less than 2, j plus plus, and this is 2, not 5. Now, let's remove this because we already allocated it, and this will become a printf. Printf %d/t, not the address, array of I, comma j. Now we studied about nested loops. So when I is 0, then j is equal to 0. It'll get the index of 0, 0, comma 0, which is 1. Then the inner for loop will become 1, so 0, comma 1 is 2. Then, so the outer for loop will become 1, inner for loop is 0, so 1, comma 0 is 3, and so on and so forth. Now, let's close the outer for loop. Then let's close the inner for loop. Then the outer for loop, let's add a line break so it represents a mathematical matrix visually. So /n. Okay, let's remove the other for loop. Save it. Close it and run it. Oh yeah. I forgot to take the semicolon off. Let me check. Let's run it. And you can see the output represents a matrix of size 2 cross 2. Now, how do we do input? It's similar to the out. It's similar to the two for loops we used to display the output, but include a scanf within the inner for loop. Thanks for watching. I hope you understood the video.